welcome everyone to another IT and vulnerability security news live here from this similarly broken DOCSIS cable stuff, although we tunnel it through the VPN, but already 300 drop frame, 16%. Anyway, let's see how this goes. Recurring theme here. Here, no, without VPN, doesn't really. Anyway, so it's not Vodafone Germany YouTube peering, it's this DOCSIS line here, is it? Anyway, so allegedly a team Pangu of all iOS hacking fame found an unpatchable vulnerability in the Secure Enclave Processor SEP in iPhones. Not sure if more news are out yet. I've not yet seen something new. But yeah, iOS 14 jailbreak demo by Pangu allegedly. And of course, I slightly wonder also if this means unpatchable in the Secure Enclave. Then of course, this is where Apple allegedly stores all your secrets. Totally super highly secure, obviously. Similar highly secure and Apple hashtag peak bugs. CVE 2020-9934 bypass TCC, the unauthorized access to your sensitive user data, at least on Apple's macOS. In their background here, transparency. So TCC stands, if you're wondering, for Transparency Consent and Control Framework, Apple subsystem, which denies installed application access to sensitive user data without explicit permission from the user, generally from a pop-up message here. And allegedly they could hack this here rather easily. The bug obviously being able to write directly to the database completely defeats the purpose of TCC, so like do. And so Apple protects the database itself with TCC and system integrity. Even programs running root cannot modify the database unless it has the private TCC manager entitlements. However, the database is still technically owned and read and writable by the current user as long as it can find a program with those entitlements. They control the database. So since TCC daemon is directly responsible for reading and writing TCC database, it's a prime candidate. Immediately after opening TCC daemon in Ghidra and looking for code that was related to handling database operations, noticed something that didn't seem right. Essentially, with a TCC daemon attempt to open the database, the program tries to directly open, create, if not already existing, an SQL database or form library application. Also, yeah, how does this stuff work? Of course, SQLite 3 database for what it's worth, application support, COM, Apple, TCC, TCCDB. While this seems inconspicuous at first, it becomes more interesting when you realize that you can control the location of the TCC daemon, read and writes to if you can control what home variable contains. It's like, yeah, 2020 TCC bypass by setting of environment variable, because that's obviously right. Initially dismissed this fun trick as the actual TCC daemon runs launchd completely ignores the database, and it's the only daemon in OS communicates with when doing authorization events. However, a few days later, I stumbled upon this Stack Exchange post realizing that since the TCC daemon is running with launchd within the current user's domain, it could also control all environment variables passed to it. When it launched this, I could set the home variable in launch control to point to a directory controlled, restart the TCC daemon, then directly modify the TCC database and give myself every TCC entitlement available without even prompting the end user. Anyway, yes, Apple security proof of concept at its finest. In similar, Google reportedly peeks into Android's data to gain an edge over third-party apps. Is similar what Apple is doing of copying others' App Store apps and ideas, including night shift, display, color fading and stuff. And also not letting it in the App Store and bringing it to the iOS operating system. But Google is already under investigation by the US Congress, DOJ, and 50 state AGs. And Google for several years allegedly has collected app usage data collecting from Android phones to develop and advance its own competing apps. And new report alleges, yeah, this is a fine trick, right? Apple Music and stuff, and all the ideas, bits and pieces copied everywhere. And as Steve Jobs once famously said regarding good artists and copying and stealing and whatnot. But the project called Android Logbox collects sensitive Android user data for use within Google and has been in effect since at least 2013. But yeah, also I really wonder that these big companies have projects like this. You would think they are that big and have so much money in the bank that they can finance proper research, like valid their own study and research, and in general, like state-of-the-art research projects, like copying other small home businesses, but like doing the whole inventing the future business. But yeah, anyway, sounds familiar. The information allegations and are accurate, and antitrust regulators are likely to have a whole lot of questions for Google, as they at RSF exclusion for antitrust laws or whatever, something for biggest. Alphabet, Amazon, Apple and Facebook are all under bevy of state, federal and international antitrust probes at the moment. And yeah, super nice companies. We got ourselves there. Similar to super nice companies, we got ourselves there. Source code from dozens of companies leaked online. Here, exposed repositories, dozens of companies across various fields of activity, tech, finance, retail, food, e-commerce, manufacturing, publicly available as a result of misconfiguration in the infrastructure. Public repository of leaked code includes big names like Microsoft, Adobe, Lenovo, AMD, Qualcomm, Motorola, HiSilicon owned by Huawei, MediaTek, also yeah, what you find at MediaTek probably only. Anyway, GE Appliances, so your local X-Ray, MRT, and Nintendo, Roblox, Disney, Johnson Controls, and the list keeps growing. The leak is being collected by a developer and reverse engineer from various sources and from their own hunting for misconfigured DevOps tools that offer source access to source codes. Large number of these leaks, which by the name are available in a public repository and GitHub, in case you were wondering. In similar news, hackers leaked passwords for 900 enterprise VPN servers, like yeah, VPN totally private and secure exclusive. The list has been shared on a Russian-speaking hacking forum frequented by multiple ransomware gangs. And yeah, a recurring theme here, VPN totally virtual, private and not secure. Also, most people don't really need this. If I said this before, if you route something to such VPN services, you're more likely to be traffic man in the middle sniffed and so on and investigated than if you just run it through your local ISP. And of course, this stuff should be HTTP. Doesn't really matter if it goes through some VPN, because again, the connection should be already encrypted and secure, and then there should not be, well, should not in terms of this fails. Glocus asks TCCs and compiler, no, the Apple trusted something, transparency, consent and control framework of Apple's thought. In similar news, VMware of Apple's peak bugs, recurring theme here, we had something similar already. VMware Fusion potentially causes macOS 10.15.6 to crash, the amazing collection of #Apple's peak bugs. It happens again, even though it turned off 3G acceleration. And yeah, here, nice little crash. In case you were wondering how stable and secure Apple's stuff and usability and experience, and the recurring theme here. Evergreen asks, use private VPN for bypassing, not because port forwarding is dumb. Yeah, of course there are valid reasons, like having a VPN to your data center, your own servers or similar of such sorts, but not for normal people browsing the internet, online banking and booking travel and stuff. In similar news, hackers actively exploit high-severity networking vulnerabilities. We had this already before. F5 flaw allows complete, but now it just escalated, allows complete network takeover. Cisco bug discloses sensitive information. Actively exploiting, just a recurring reminder that this stuff is real, people get hurt, business shut down, and similar of network run by Fortune 500 companies, government organizations, in case you were wondering. In similar news, ABUS, here German, my on-the-fly translation, security vulnerability in ABUS, SECVEST HYBRID-MODUL, FUMO, whatever, 5011 something. In case you're wondering what the heck this is some log. Proof of concept video of ABUS SECVEST spoofing attack demonstrated there by this IT security experts. Here, spoofing attack with insecure wireless modules here of this hybrid stuff due to allegedly mistakes, errors in the security function regarding confidentiality and integrity here of those modules. They could bypass this. Also here, cloud logs right for what it's worth. Yeah, also based on a software tool for a similar security vulnerability, because of ABUS SECVEST remote control stuff of what was this demonstrated. And in case you're wondering how amazing wireless and network connected Internet of Things logs and similar devices recurrently apparently are. In similar news, there was a security vulnerability in Grub, and that I didn't find the most noteworthy. That was in regards to Secure Boot, which is like YOLO, whatever. However, a secondary news to this is the fix for the Grub 2 security update renders systems unbootable, in case you working with pros here, and in case you were wondering if security fixes are tested. Applying the Red Hat Security Advisory 2020-3216 Grub 2 security update for the kernel security and bug fix update for fresh minimal installation of Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8.2 renders the system unbootable. Recurring theme here, DRM mostly harms valid regular paying users, and similar to here, Secure Boot. Also, in case you're wondering, previous Intel management engine and AMD, whatever, PSP, whatever, privacy secure, whatever processor, something not the most secure, issues regularly found, and then preventing to boot because security is complex, and bug fixes as well. Evergreen agrees, so really no one should use internet connected security controls, just use RFID and WineGet from software house of HID or similar. So all the other things, there were also already plenty of RFID attacks, so certainly bypassing those is usually, at least requires more physical presence to sniff it, most likely, unless anyway. In similar massive Nintendo leaks, I might not have mentioned this in the previous month. There was already a Nintendo leak, but now that there's a second and maybe more to come, I thought I briefly shout this out here for the fans of Nintendo and stuff. Of course, theoretically, you shouldn't really load this and read this, because this taints you in regards to working on open source stuff. But if you ever wanted to look into Mario, Zelda, Pokémon and others, secrets of good old-fashioned NES and other, or Wii and similar ROMs, even Verilog or VHDL hardware design stuff. And I heard from another source that apparently, so this is not only a rather large trove, but also additionally, apparently each project has like at least one file missing or two, so it's not like you can just build it. So maybe for legal and safeguarding reasons, they apparently rendered each and every project at least unbuildable. Just a fun little side anecdote. But otherwise, how were the files obtained? Allegedly, they write here or speculate that some third-party contractor there working for Nintendo, and they also found a lot of unreleased stuff, which in some cases might or might not have been part of the design process or just brainstorming and other fun stuff. Similar fun stuff, Russians GRU hackers hit US government energy targets apparently again. Allegedly here, previously unreported fancy beers campaign persisted well over a year. We had this recurring theme, nothing new for our channel, just a recurring reminder this stuff is not over, it's ongoing. Security, security, and security. And if stuff is not secure, someone will use it, and if there are crypto backdoors, other people will also find it. So Russians GRU military intelligence agency has carried out many of the most aggressive acts of hacking in history. Destructive worms, black doors. Also, yeah, it's of course funny American reporting, but forgetting to include that US military intelligence certainly also has carried out many of the most aggressive acts of hacking in the history of destructive worms, blackouts, and close to the homes of at least South Americans and other people in the world. But yeah, 2018 until May this year, hacking group known as Apt28 or Fancy Beer carried out broad hacking campaign against US targets according to the FBI notification sent of victims of the breach in May, obtained by Wire and similar VPN, Microsoft Office, and the list goes on. In similar news, the list goes on. Honda recalls 608,000 vehicles due to faulty software. So yeah, faulty software is real, not only in your local Arbus log or Nintendo servers, Apple, Security Enclave and TCC, but also each and everyone's car, causing random reboots and problems with the backup camera. It's like, seriously, you had one job. And anyway, a recurring theme that I wonder what the car manufacturers are doing, but certainly the German ones are not that much better, especially after the advent of the Dieselgate. But yeah, recalls vans and SUVs caused by faulty software that can, among other things, cause the backup camera to fail and the driver's display to malfunction and reboot. And similar, yeah, we had everything from brakes, engine control, and everything and in between. In case you were wondering, software and hardware is difficult and stuff needs to be tested and so on. In similar amazing German news, German Postbank previously somewhat government-run postal services bank here logs iOS customers out, in case you were wondering if it's a good idea to have your online payment stuff connected to your amazing smartphone or Apple PeakBucks iPhone. Since many years, the online access to customers of this Postbank are not possible due to an app error or issue or bug or whatever. The bank allegedly already solved many problems, but is still fighting with final resolution. Yeah, Best Sign also here, can't make this naming up. Best Sign app of on iOS in this and so on may not work anymore in iOS 13. Recurring theme of, yeah, but this is also companies like Apple and Google changing their stuff and breaking other stuff. Alternative access with chiptune, whatever, something. It's apparently a recurring theme. Frustrating comments there on the App Store more than 4 weeks. But yeah, 2020 can't access your online account stuff on a smartphone for over 4 weeks because Apple and other banks and security and yeah. In case you're wondering, cars, and there was something planes right, although this time on Boeing side not really software but hardware. In this hard times of the pandemic, Boeing, or maybe potentially other planes here, Boeing 737, many of those most likely, maybe if not all, emergency AD prompted by 4 recent reports of single engine shutdown due to engine bleed air, 5th stage check valves being stuck open, corrosion of the engine bleed air, 5th stage check valve, internal parts during airplane storage may cause the valve. Yeah, 2020, not many planes are flying. So in case you're wondering how safe are planes now, even less safe than before. but yeah, not amazing times, whether analog or digital viruses, security vulnerabilities, and why probably also even Rust. A little bit summary here in case you have some Q&A here, last minutes, in case of Ask Me Anything. Rust, of course, would not have changed anything in this transparency, consent, and control framework stuff, because it's a simple environment variable database location bypass here. So just like, if in case you're wondering, yes, software is hard, hardware is hard, already in the name, but this kind of stuff here of exporting an environment variable, no Go, no Rust, no Java, no, well, maybe even potentially theoretically formal verification. However, I would say that software is so complex you could probably not even formal verify this, because modeling this kind of complex software might even be out of scope of the most powerful AIs and quantum computers at this point, because there is only so much formal verification can do. But in other, yeah, maybe Secure Enclave Processor, if they would have used formal verification, but then even crypto is hard, not as there is not yet, I've not yet a new word of what this Team Pangu stuff here of unpatchable vulnerability is about. But even that, if this is a crypto algorithm, if like maybe even if we want to give Apple the benefit of a doubt, maybe they even used formal verification, who knows, maybe. However, if this is maybe in some crypto algorithm, or theoretically, a formal verification is only as good if it's not a crypto key with 2 little random bits like Sony's PS3 of random number 4 or whatever that was. It's a question if formal verification would have caught that. But yeah, secure boot stuff, whether on the iPhone or on Grob 2 here of Red Hat, and potentially any others. Where was this here? Any other open source distribution, x86 fame, but Intel management engine, AMD, PSP, what even we probably could fact check that, AMD, PSP, probably privacy, secure processor, something, in case this would be, I know we have AMD, PSP, so much to our amazing internet platform, security processor, obviously do. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you learned something. First of all, certainly that software as well as hardware are difficult. We need more secure languages, more formal verification, and last but not least, certainly a smaller trusted code base and less feature bloat, because complexity is already the mother of all security vulnerabilities and bugs and features. Anyways, that's it for today. I hope you learned something, and as always, you can share, like, and subscribe, and send me a note if you find something newsworthy, and I hope to see you soon for all next videos and IT live streams to come.